As you heard there, Pharmac has announced via its website it struck a deal with pharmaceutical company Roche and now proposes to fund 2 cancer drugs and a multiple sclerosis drug from December the 1st this year. The drug trastuzumab, known commercially as Kadcyla, is currently costing breast cancer sufferers at least $9,000 a month and has been front and centre in the debate over how Pharmac funds cancer care. Patients desperate for Kadcyla have featured on this program and across RNZ, and Pharmac has continued to say that the expensive drug has not been adequately proven. Well, joining us now is the chair of Breast Cancer Aotearoa Coalition, Libby Burgess. Libby, good evening to you. To start by telling us your reaction, how are you feeling and how will breast cancer patients be feeling at this news?
Look, I'm absolutely delighted, Alex, and so will the breast cancer patients who need this medicine, who've actually been paying $9,000 every 3 weeks if they can afford it. And in fact, most women, of course, can't afford it. So it's wonderful news. We're absolutely delighted to hear this announcement today. Of course, it's one of 6 drugs that aren't funded here that are in the ESMO guidelines, and there are 3 other drugs that are funded for limited uses here. But this one is a key medicine. It's a medicine that women petitioned Parliament for last October, along with the CDK4/6 inhibitor Ibrance. And so there'll be a lot of happy families tonight.
How many people do you think this is going to help?
Well, if there are, say, 1,000 women with advanced breast cancer, which is a reasonable estimate, then it'll benefit around 230 of them, because around 23% of women with advanced breast cancer have HER2-positive disease.
Now, Libby, it's great news, but we've been continually told on this program and on others that despite international expert opinion, Kadcyla is not a proven drug. What does this announcement mean now in terms of how we can trust Pharmac? And obviously it's been using that argument or rationale about the commercial nature of its negotiations with companies. But, what do you think about the way they go about this process and how we can trust them moving forward?
So this really demonstrates how opaque the processes are. I think it's time that Pharmac admitted that it's just the fact that they don't have a sufficient budget that is the reason for not funding. It's not really that there's no evidence. Australia funded this drug in July 2015. It's funded right across the developed world. Of course there is evidence for it, and that's why it's in the ESMO guidelines. So we'd just really like to see more transparency, more openness, and just more honesty about the processes and what's going on. We saw the NICE model, the UK model recently from Sir Andrew Dillon, and there the processes are much more open. So there's communication with the pharmaceutical companies, there's transparent negotiation about what price they think they should pay. There's involvement of patients right from the start of the process of considering a drug, and they always go to the clinical experts that really know what the situation is for a particular medicine and a particular patient group. So we'd just like to see some transformation of Pharmac to be more open and to, of course, have faster processes to get modern medicines to New Zealand patients faster.
Now, just briefly before we go, Libby, there is a feedback period now, and I don't think it's all that long. It might be just before the end of the month. What specifically are you asking of Pharmac through this process?
So through this process, we will be saying that we're concerned about the restrictions that they've imposed around the need for an echocardiogram. We think that that should be something that oncologists determine whether their patients need or not. And it might just make it harder for some women, especially those who don't have funds, to actually access the medicine. And the other one is that they've limited it to women with symptomatic brain metastases. So we would argue that it should be simply up to the oncologist whether the patient is likely to benefit. Try the drug for everyone who might benefit, and if it doesn't work, then you simply stop using it. So we'll be saying, great, fantastic that it's going to be funded. It's such an important medicine, but please remove those 2 restrictions.
Hey, thanks very much for your time. Libby Burgess there. She's from Breast Cancer Aotearoa Coalition, talking and reacting to Pharmac's announcement today that Kadcyla and drugs helping with lung cancer and multiple sclerosis will be funded from the beginning of December.